Hello there. It is going to be a long night. The long night begins. The war in Israel shows me that this might be a very long night. Both sides do not appear to me to be willing to pursue peace at the moment. I advised in my last video that if I were Benjamin Netanyahu, I wouldn't take the bait from Iran. Because the way I view it is very simple. Iran wants a war with Israel. That's what they want, not peace. And one way of getting that war is through the use of Hamas and, unfortunately, the use of the poor Palestinians. When Hamas uh, did its terrorist attacks on Israel, Iran knows very well how Benjamin is going to react, forcefully invading Gaza, thereby creating a humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip as the civilians' quality of life deteriorates. Iran is hoping that he can gather other Arab states or galvanize other Arab states against Israel. And the plan is working well. And from there, it's a slippery slope down the hill. Hence, I had advised Benjamin that at this point, you do not take the bait. At this point, you bring in humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. You stop the military offensive against the people in Palestine. Even though you will say that you are targeting Hamas, I think that targeting has to be done via intelligence gathering means within uh, the Gaza Strip, not throwing bombs. Because throwing bombs into the Gaza Strips looks like a war against Palestinians. There is innocent women and children who will die in the process. And there will be legitimate cries from the Middle East region against that. Now, people are not able to dissect most of the time. People will tend to be one-sided. If they say Israel is bad on all things. They'll never say anything good about Israel. Just like people on the other side, when they say Hamas is bad, they will just think that there's nothing good that can come from any Palestinian. That's what the warring parties are like. They dislike each other so much that their dislike for each other brings everyone from the world into their war. And then we end up having a situation of a World War III, with something which I think Iran really would love to see. She and her allies already have a strategy of trying to destabilize the world. Here's the thing. I do not think that Iran, in its mind, thinks that they can win a World War III, because they can't and they won't. But if they can inflict as much pain as possible to Iran, to Israel, and by extension to the United States, they would be happy. They are not fighting to win a war, but just inflict pain as much as possible to make life miserable for the Israelis and also for their long-term enemy, the United States. Now, Benjamin makes a mistake by taking that bait and going after Hamas militarily. He should have done it in a much more different way. In that way, there will be no human casualties in the Gaza Strip. those casualties is what Iran is going to use against Israel. And Israel is losing diplomatically at the moment. Israel might have partners in the Britain and in the United States and control of the global media and other stuff, but they will lose the war in terms of optics, not only in the region of Middle East, but in many parts of the world, including here in South Africa. The South African government uh, supports Palestine, which means that they are anti-Israel, but they are more like moderate. They are not like Iran. The Zimbabwean government is friends with the Iranian government. Now, what Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't recognize is that the war in Palestine has got negative repercussions to all Jews around the world, not just the Jews in Israel. Now, Jewish enclaves around the world are going to suffer from phobias and any other repercussion that can emerge because of Benjamin's strategy, his bad strategy. I agree, Israel must fight Hamas, but the strategy is bad. It may seem powerful. Israel will win a war against the Gaza Strip, but it will win, it will lose the global war in Jewish enclaves around the world. For example, in South Africa has got a large Jewish, not large, but a sizable Jewish population that built this country. Sentiments around that community or against that community may increase as we get deeper into a third world war scenario. We are not there yet, but we could uh, uh, stop it. If Benjamin can just listen to me, stop the war. But it's most likely that Israel will not listen to me. It's most likely they will carry on bombing the Gaza Strip. It's most likely that all the Arab nations are going to rally against Israel, and the Israeli Saudi deal might be put on hold or even fall apart. In that scenario, it's most likely that the hatred of Israel and the hatred of America in the Middle East will increase. In that scenario, the hatred, you see also an increase in anti-Semitism, not only in Israel, but all over the world. Then you will see, for example, where we are here in Southern Africa. I'm talking about Southern Africa and the Jews in Southern Africa. Now, if you are Jewish and you are in South Africa or Southern Africa, here is your concern. As we get deeper into the war, and you know that your enemy is Iran, and Iran is aligned with who? Aligned with Russia, Russia which is aligned with China. As we get deeper, China will end up coming out of this hibernation. I mean, not hibernation, it's hiding. Because it seems like China is hiding against, is hiding behind a lot of actors in its war against the United States. You will see in the Southern African region who is pro-China. Now, let me just speak to the Jews in South Africa, which is really are the ones that I'm concerned about, because I feel like their lives, literal lives, are in danger here in South Africa. First of all, the South African government is not pro-Israel. Israel. It's pro-Palestinian. Number two, it's not even pro-American. It's now pro-Chinese and pro-Russian. And there's Jewish people living in South Africa. It's not a good scenario. Look at next to your neighbors. Well, you're okay with Botswana and Namibia, Zambia over there, fine. Mozambique, I do not know what's going on in Mozambique. Anyway, Swaziland and Lesotho is fine. Really, they're not part of the whole thing. Then you have got Zimbabwe, interestingly, because Harare's ties with Iran have been strengthened, and Putin's ties with Idi Mnangagwa have been strengthened over the years. And looking at the character of Idi Mnangagwa, he is a person who, in an event of a third world war, as this war is going down the drain, he's most likely, since he's got military backup from China and Russia, and that Iran axis, he's most likely to agree to any request from them to use Zimbabwe as a launch base against Jewish South Africa. And he will not have an option to say no, because he is part of that clan, and therefore he has to take, he has to be seen playing with that team. So if you're a Jew in South Africa, here's the thing: you are not happy with Idi Mnangagwa as president of Zimbabwe. You need someone pro-Jewish to protect the Jewish interests in the region. And why am I concerned about Jewish interests? Am I a Jew? No. But I've said it in the previous videos that because of the blessings of the Jewish people, they are the ones who are able to, who have got the anointing to build the world. Wherever they are, things are actually built. Wherever they live, things are destroyed. Look at Zimbabwe. After ZANU-PF got jealous of what the former Rhodesians were building in Zimbabwe, they went to the bush, they got the country. Look what they're doing. They're not even building anything, they're just destroying, they're just eating. All they know is to feed their bellies. So it is important for global success for the Jewish people to be safe, to be free, and to be allowed to carry on building the world. That's why South Africa is the most successful country in Africa right now, because of the Jewish people in South Africa. Remove the Jewish people out of South Africa, this country will be a banana republic. You see what I'm talking about? So from my perspective, that is where I'm coming from. If you do ask me the question, why are you supporting the Jews? It's because I'm supporting prosperity in the Southern African region. We have had problems with white people in South Africa, white monopoly, capital. Yes, I know those problems, but they are small. They pale in comparison with what we are coming up against now. What is coming up against from Iran is coming for all of us, white and black. So we put aside our little agreements. We will sort them out later. Right now, we've got bigger fish to fry. Iran. And Iran wants to eradicate Israel. And I want to eradicate poverty in my country and in my region. And I'm going to do that with Jewish help. And how are we going to do that if Iran attacks the Jews in Southern Africa via the weak Harare government, and then the Jews leave? Southern Africa will become a huge mess up. We will be like Central African Republic, Chad, and, what is it? Those countries in the Sahel. We will be like that. Everybody will be fighting everybody. The Zulus against the Xhosas, the South Africans against the Zimbabweans. Everyone will be fighting against everyone. There will be no order. There will be chaos. Because we have not developed leaders who are fit to lead. We seem to be developing thieves and attacking people who know how to build. Or rather, not listening to anyone who wants to build, but following clouds without any rain. So that's my take on the Jewish scenario in South Africa, and the reason why I am supporting Israel and the Jewish enclaves around the world, with special attention to the one that we have here in our region. highlighting that it is necessary for us to counter Iran by not giving them a chance to use Harare as a launchpad against Pretoria, Joburg, and Cape Town. Already, the attack on South Africa has already started. What do you think is going on with ESCOM? You think this country does not have enough engineers to run ESCOM, competent engineers for that matter? It has. But already it is an attack to cripple the economy of South Africa, which is largely controlled by Jews in South Africa. That is already the attack economically. It can come through many other ways, politically and stuff like that. As I'm saying that the ANC's policy, whatever the people who make the policies, the ANC, need to think harder about this. But in countries where in banana republic countries, leaders tend to be corrupt and pursue terrible destructive policies because they get to gain personally. Even though the country will suffer, but the comrades will gain personally. They will have billions in offshore accounts, and if they've got a health scare, they will go to China and Russia to understand. So they don't really care. They don't have empathy for the rest of the people. This is what you get when you sponsor politicians that hate their own people. At some point, they get to be so corrupt such that they will act even against you. It is the Jewish people that promoted the ANC leaders today. Who's sponsoring them? Is it not the Jews in South Africa? Watching them destroying black people and not doing anything. Today, they are going to be used by Iran and the Russians to attack the Jews in South Africa. And they've already started. And who's the one who put them there? The Jews as well. So in this little rant that I have, I'm saying, I'm just showing, if you're a Jew and you're a South African, I'm showing you that stop supporting black leaders that hate their own people and think that is going to help you because you have found a way of destroying blacks through their weak leaders. What you don't realize that those weak leaders, when they become strong and powerful, after they finish destroying their own black people, they come after white people or eight people who are bad actors from around the world to destroy even the Jews. So you're a Jewish person in South Africa. What must you be thinking now? You must be thinking, no, 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 no. For all the money that I have as a capitalist in this region, I must now be seeking black political leaders that want to build and not to destroy, who understand the concept of building states. In that way, you could be able to counter Iran, Russia, and China. Besides that, Idim Nangagwa, the ANC, will be as corrupt as they want to be, and in order for them to be safe from the law, they want to run away from America, from Europe, because those people, they've got the FBI, the CIA, who are going to be investigating embezzlement and stuff like that. So they want to be close to China and Russia, who don't care, who in fact marvel at their expertise and corruption. So you'll be pushing the country towards those guys. And then in the event of a war, you begin to you begin to make it easier for Russia and Iran to make inroads into the Southern African region. So I'm gonna say again, counter it by supporting black politicians in Zimbabwe, South Africa, and the region who want to build. And do not fight the black politicians who have got a passion for their own people. That is what you want now. If you've got Jewish money, write that check right now. Don't think twice about it. Write that 10 million rand check and send it to me, so that I can build a political base to protect you as a black politician who wants to improve the living conditions of black people, and so that we can create a state for all of us which is safe from the threat of the Iranians and the threat of the Russians. That's what you must be thinking right now if you're a Jew in South Africa. Come on now. Write that check. Go ahead. Go ahead. Write that check. Send it. Send it to me and other politicians who are like-minded, who think like me. Okay? If you keep on clandestinely supporting the Ramaphosas and the Idim Nangagwas of this world, you will be clandestinely or unwittingly sponsoring for your own destruction. Sponsor the right guys and win. Support the wrong guys, and you'll be wondering what happened when the war comes to a doorstep. That's what I have to say today.